Welcome in to News and Views with Tom Lamprecht. The stories you've heard and the ones you need to hear.
President Joe Biden has tested positive for
COVID-19.
Very likely that somebody he met in the Middle East had it and passed it along to him.
Another dangerous heat wave.
There are millions of people suffering from extreme heat. Our nation faces clear and present danger. The latest climate report, code red for humanity.
The inflation fire continues.
Your life, your values, your voice. This is News and Views with Tom Lamprecht on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, welcome in, Tom, Benny, and Clark, and you for the ride home. And no echo. Thank you, Clark. We've had some technical challenges this week, and our producers. Yeah, okay. All right, Clark, don't overdo it now. We're giving you credit. Don't overdo it. And listen, we need to be praying for our president. I mean, it was just a few months ago we found out he had asthma. Yesterday it was cancer, and today it's COVID-19. Here's the president talking about his ailments.
And when I went to a small little school that was about a mile from the apartment complex we lived in, and a little school called Holy Rosary. And you couldn't walk to school because although it was a 4-lane access highway, it was just too dangerous to cross some of the streets. And my mother would get in them, and when it came it came the fall. This is the God's truth. And you'd get in the car, and there's a little frost on the window, turn on the windshield wiper, there'd be an oil slick. Not a joke. I have asthma, and 80% of the people who, in fact, we grew up with have asthma. In an apartment complex when we moved to Delaware, and just up the road to a little school I went to, Holy Rosary Grade School. And because it was a 4-lane highway that was accessible, my mother drove us, and rather than us be able to walk. And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening? You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer.
This is God's truth. It's
God's
no joke.
truth. Yeah.
Come on, man. I mean, listen. Whenever someone keeps telling you over and over, this is God's truth, this is the truth, this is absolutely truth, this is not a joke, you know he's lying.
Yeah, the Southern way would say, hey, this is no BS, before they tell a story. And
this is all BS.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a few weeks ago, I guess it was a few months ago.
An oil slick on the windshield.
Every morning there was an oil slick on the windshield. That's why he has asthma and cancer, and today, I guess he's got COVID. I guess this is the God's truth that he actually has COVID.
Somebody needs to tell Joe the oil slick on his windshield was his dad went out there and poured antifreeze on the frost so his mom wouldn't have to clean the windows.
Joe,
you just can't make it up.
No, he's a card. So this morning, it was reported that President Biden tested positive for COVID-19, according to House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. In a written statement, he is fully vaccinated and twice boosted and experiencing very mild symptoms. So pretty much the same outcome if you were boosted or not boosted. And again, we had this story yesterday. We just mentioned it briefly, though, that the CDC has now come out and said, it doesn't look like the boosters are doing a whole lot. In fact, a lot of folks are now questioning whether or not your immunity is actually, and this hopefully will only be temporary. But a lot of people are wondering, is your immunities actually less strong than they would be if you were not vaccinated? But anyway, we hope Joe is fine. I mean, listen, I really do hope Joe is fine. I mean, the last thing that you want right now is if Joe would go to his eternal reward in the middle of his presidency, because they would immediately turn him into a martyr. Mm-hmm. He would attain sainthood. He'd be right up there with, JFK and everyone else that has died in office.
But you're really more worried about Kamala Harris taking over.
Well, yeah. By the way, that's a good lead-in for our political trivia. Okay, I'll just put it at that. That's a hint for your political trivia. Okay.
Is this going to be a nice one? I mean,
it is a nice one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would keep it clean.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So anyway, apparently, consistent with the White House protocol for positive COVID cases, Joe will be in isolation. So what's different?
Yeah.
What's
Good
different?
point. Good point. The White House, several reports out about the White House, shutting down questions a day when asked about, where did he get it, and typical, shielding Joe Biden and his administration from tough questions. But I thought today a valid question would have been asked. They talked about that President Biden was on Paxlovid, which I've known several people that's done quite well with that.
Right.
But I think a good question today would, okay, you've mentioned what the president's on, and for the last 2 years, we've never heard you at all mention therapeutics. I mean, why not? Why not?
Suddenly they're
Suddenly they're important enough to talk about, but they hadn't been important enough to talk about for the last 2 years. The president just a few months ago, made the famous statement that this has suddenly become a pandemic of the unvaccinated. Just trying to kind of shaming people that hadn't been vaccinated. When all this time they could have been saying, yeah, we want you to get vaccinated, but you know what? If not, I mean, you got the bully pulpit. You've got every major news outlet in the world listening to every word you say, and not a mention of therapeutics during all this.
Good point. So amongst those that were with the president when he was up in Massachusetts yesterday, where he announced he had cancer, let's see, there was Ed Markey. Who's
Pennsylvania guy?
No, Ed Markey's the other senator, along with Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The Queen was the Indian princess was there. Representative Jake Atchincloss and Representative Bill Keating. So it'll be interesting to see if any of them come down with COVID. But again, I mean, you talk about comorbidities. I mean, Joe, I don't know if mental illness is a comorbidity to COVID, but I know Joe thinks he can whip Donald Trump if he got him behind the barn, but I don't.
Take him out back and beat the shoot out of him. Yeah.
Anyway,
beat the hell out of him. I think that's what he said.
Let's hope that Joe does not get any worse. I mean, in all honesty, I consider the alternatives. It's not pleasant. We've as bad as it is, we need Joe to hang in there for the next 2 years. News and Observer is reporting North Carolina officials will not seek reinstatement of the 20-week abortion ban. I say officials, Josh Stein. Josh Stein is the official that the News and Observer is talking about. Now, the News and Observer would like you to think this is bipartisan support not to reinstate the 20-week abortion ban. That is incorrect. Josh Stein said today his office would not ask a federal judge to reinstate North Carolina's 20-week ban on abortion, rebuffing a request from GOP legislative leaders in light of the U.S. Supreme Court's overturning of Roe v. Wade. Now, that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. In fact, it's in process. Earlier this month, Stein told GOP leaders that the State Department of Justice was continuing a review of Bryant versus Woodall, a case that resulted in a judge blocking at the state's 20-week ban from being applied. In a statement Thursday, Stein said the North Carolina DOJ would not take action that would restrict a woman's ability to make their own reproductive health care decisions. Protecting that ability is more important than ever, as states across the nation are banning abortions in all instances, including rape and incest. That, according to Stein again. After the Supreme Court struck down Roe last month, Phil Berger and Tim Moore asked Stein to take all necessary legal action to reinstate the ban, which the federal judge ruled unconstitutional in 2019. Basically, Stein is saying, no, I don't think so. Is this malfeasance? I mean, is Stein, as the Attorney General, is he not to go ahead and make sure that the laws on the books are being followed?
Josh Stein hadn't really performed as an attorney general, and in fact, Roy Cooper wasn't much better in his time in office. I mean, it's been to them purely a position where they're basically representing the DNC in North Carolina, and on national issues down at the state level, he never once represents North Carolina. I mean, he's elected by the people to represent the Constitution, to enforce it.
Enforce the law.
He's the official, top police officer, if you will. Legal officer to enforce the law,
and he's not doing it.
Refuses
he's simply not doing it. He's acting as a governor. He's acting as a dictator. I mean, it's as if I can decide which laws I like and which laws I don't like, and that's what I mean, this is like a police officer deciding, well, you know what? There goes Benny. I'm going to pull him over because I don't like News and Views.
In all fairness, I mean, that is the Democrat way for Democrat elected officials all over the country. They only enforce what they want to.
Yeah. And is that not the beginning, or if not full-fledged anarchy?
Yeah. I mean, you either have the rule of law or you don't. And if you don't have law, I mean, who was it that said we're not a nation of men, we're a nation of laws? It may have been Benjamin Franklin, maybe, or
Lex
John
Rex.
Adams, maybe.
Lex Rex. Our law is the Constitution. It's not a king. It's not an oligarchy. It's the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've got a bunch of oligarchs in the Democratic Party and a few in the Republican Party.
Oh, we got them in the Republican Party, no doubt.
Oh yeah. We'll get to some of those in a few minutes. In response to Stein's announcement, Tim Moore, the speaker, said Republican leaders are exploring all options to defend the law and protect life in North Carolina. Now, why do the legislatures have to do the job of the Attorney General? That's exactly what Tim Moore just said. I mean, he was more polite about it and less direct than I'm being here. But Josh Stein is not doing his job, and Tim Moore says, well, we'll see what we can do to make sure that the law is followed.
We just look at Attorney General Stein's campaign finance reports from last election. It's, he's been funded primarily from out of state, so he's got to tote their water, and he's got to pay him back.
Be interesting to see how much money he's getting from George Soros. By the way, this whole deal reinstating the 20-week ban. Earlier this month, Judge William Osteen ordered all parties involved in the Bryant versus Woodall to submit briefs with their arguments for why the injunction on the 20-week ban should or should not be lifted. The order issued July 8th give parties a month to respond with their briefs. But Josh Stein just said, nah, I don't think so. I just won't do it. I don't feel like it. The guy ought to be impeached.
But you know
over malfeasance.
You know what really concerns, and I'm not going to be able to pull it up in time, but you know what really concerns Josh Stein the most? The fact that Mark Robinson got a lot more votes than he did last election. He did. He got a lot more votes for lieutenant governor than what Josh Stein did for attorney general. So that's what keeps him up at night. Not worrying about the North Carolina Constitution.
Well, that's probably a good look into your crystal ball. I would think come 2024, not only we'll be looking at the presidential race, we'll probably be looking at Josh Stein and Mark Robinson in a gubernatorial race in North Carolina. That will be fun.
It will be.
That might be more fun than the presidential race.
Well, we're going to have some pretty good Senate race too coming up.
Yeah.
Do we just have some dead air time or something? Something just had weird in my mic. Anyway.
No. Anyway, speaking of, no, we won't compare the upcoming ads to dead air. Let's take a time out, and we get back. We got lots more to talk about. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Got a trade? Then get to Greenville Toyota. We're out to buy 500 local trades, and we'll buy you out with our best offer. Or trade in for a new Toyota and get our Greenville Advantage with no-cost lifetime maintenance and more. Don't miss the trade buyout at Greenville Toyota.
Hey, we're at Maribella's in Greenville, the new location of Maribella's on Fire Tower Road. If you haven't been to this place yet, let me tell you, you are missing out. I want to introduce my friends from Maribella's. I've got Sal, Massimo, and Pietro here. These guys are awesome. Not only do they make great food, they do a lot of things for the community, which we're going to be talking about. But Sal, let's start with you. Let's talk about the new location of Maribella's on Fire Tower Road. I'm a regular here. I love it. You guys call it Old World Pizza. Tell us what's different about your pizza.
Well, we got two kinds of pizzas. We have the traditional, American style, and then we have the Old World Pizza, which is made with fresh mozzarella, and the way they do it in Italy.
Massimo, when you talk about doing this food right, it's authentic. And when I talk about authentic, you grew up in Italy, so you grew up with this food. You know how to make it.
Yeah, because we grew up in Italy, we know the ingredient, and everything we do from scratch. And the right ingredient it's been hard for us to bring over here. And now finally we can get the right ingredient to make a right pizza.
All right, now I'm going to talk to my friend Pietro here at Marabella's. He's got the Nino's shirt on today. We're going to talk about Nino's, which is another great dining experience, upscale dining experience, on another segment upcoming. But Pietro, let's talk about Marabella's. For people who've never been to Marabella's, what's the experience going to be like when they come here? Not only pizzas, but pastas, salads, sandwiches, you got it all.
Yes, we do. We have new sandwiches that we put in this new location, and we're going to spread it to the other locations.
The guys here at Marabella's have won national pizza competitions, so you know it's good. Thanks to Sal, Massimo, and Pietro. Folks, do yourself a favor. Come to the new Marabella's here on Fire Tower Road in Greenville, or Marabella's on Greenville Boulevard, or Marabella's in Washington on Carolina Avenue. Also, don't forget upscale dining at Nino's on Red Banks Road.
It pays to pre-order at Greenville Toyota. Camrys, Corollas, Tundras, RAV4s, Highlanders, and more are on the way. Pre-order yours today. Plus, get more for your trade. It pays to pre-order at Greenville Toyota.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree.
Back to the show that really makes you think.
He is a genius.
He's all powerful.
He brought a kind of heat.
He could be the best.
Just don't hurt yourself, okay? More news and views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Welcome back in. It is news and views for a political Thursday. National Junk Food Day. Can't get too much of that. 161 years ago today, the Battle of Bull Run took place. First major battle of the Civil War. Who got their nickname?
Stonewall Jackson.
Yeah.
That was, and to us Southerners, we call it the First Manassas, Battle of Manassas.
Yes. Now, am I getting the backwards? I was thinking that the Southerners went by the closest stream, and the Yankees went by the closest town. I got it backwards.
Got it backwards.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. First Manassas and Second Manassas.
Think it would be called First Manassas because the Confederates won that one big time.
Mm-hmm.
But all right.
Beautiful area too. Of course, it's growing like wildfire. Thank goodness that a lot of the battlefield has been protected, and it's a pretty place to visit.
Take a look at your weather forecast. Thunderstorms likely this evening, and a chance of scattered thunderstorms later. A chance of precip 70%, scattered thunderstorms, and a low of 73. Tomorrow, more storms in the morning. Then it becomes partly cloudy with a high near 90, so a little cooler tomorrow. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, a low near 74. Saturday, some sun in the morning with increasing clouds in the afternoon. A possible thunderstorm is possible. The highs on Saturday, 93. All in all, we need the rain. I know we've had a lot of rain, and the drought is subsiding, but we probably need some more.
That's like back to the little Civil War history for our audience. Back in your home state of Maryland, the Battle of Antietam, which was named for Antietam Creek, and the Southerners called it the Battle of Sharpsburg, which that's the town.
That's the town it was taking place at. That's right. Been there many times. Christian Post is reporting this is actually a couple days old, but we haven't covered it yet. In response to the Supreme Court overturning Roe and Casey and sending the abortion issue back to the states for the states to decide, if you remember in that, there was a concurring opinion written by Judge Thomas. And he said, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he said, perhaps we need to consider the same logic and send other issues back to the states, such as the idea of the federal government mandating contraception, or the federal government signing off on homosexual marriages. And of course, people went bananas over that, thinking, "Oh, they want to outlaw those things. They want to outlaw contraception." And and Thomas said, and again, I'm paraphrasing. Thomas said, "He's not saying that. He's saying that is a state issue. Let's send it back to the states."
He's speaking from a constitutional law theory approach, as opposed to a specific issue, is really what he was addressing.
Exactly.
Which, someone could argue, well, how about another issue that's been decided? But at the same time, there's not many issues that has been taken away from the states and done at the federal government, except the ones he mentioned in recent years.
Well, over the last couple of days, and it's almost as if the Democrats realize that their days are numbered. In fact, I saw an article today up in Iowa. There might not be any Democrats left at all in that state. I mean, that's how bad it is. But the Democrats know their days are numbered, and they are really they're running for the exits, trying. Well, they're going to end up at the exits. But in the meantime, before that happens, they're really trying to pass a lot of legislation that seems a little bizarre. But what's even more bizarre is some of the Republicans that are falling in line. So earlier this week, under Queen Nancy, the House decided to codify same-sex marriage. And interestingly, the vote was 267 to 157. 47 Republicans, all the Democrats voted for this. 47 Republicans also decided that they would vote for this codifying homosexual marriage. There are other bills that they're working on even today. But what is now, for this to become law, it's got to be passed by the Senate as well. And the problem is, some of these senators that we thought were strong conservatives, that would stand strong for morality, stand strong for what has been law for some 200 years, the biblical definition of marriage, if I could say that. We now find that certain senators there's certain senators you're not surprised. Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, I mean, they jump right in. Oh, yeah. Mitt Romney, not decided yet. But what's really disturbing is...
Excuse me. Mitt Romney's got to see which way the wind's blowing.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a political wind observer.
Yeah, he's the Republican version of Bill Clinton. John Thune of South Dakota, Rob Portman of Ohio, and Tom Tillis of North Carolina have all come out and said, "Yeah, I think I'll probably vote for that." Now, it isn't a done deal, and there's a good probability that the Senate won't even take it up until after their August break. They've got about 2 weeks left before their August break, and they probably won't. But listen, North Carolinians, if you're listening and you're a conservative, and I know this is frustrating, you thought he was a conservative when he first ran well, he's appeared to me to be a conservative when he first ran for the U.S. Senate. When he first ran, when he's coming out of the North Carolina House, he certainly had the look of a conservative.
Yeah, based on his General Assembly career, he seemed like a conservative.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then he got tasting those fillets that they serve at the White House Cafe. Not White House Cafe, but the
Republican Club?
The Congressional Cafe, where they can get a fillet every day for lunch.
Anyway, this is very disturbing. I'm reading from a CNN article. One key Republican, Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina, told CNN Wednesday he probably will support the bill. And importantly, Republican Whip John Thune says he expects the legislation will have strong GOP support in the Senate as it got in the House. If and when the Democrats bring the bill to the floor, we'll take a look at it, said Thune. Also, Rob Portman has indicated. Now, Rob Portman apparently has a son who is a homosexual, and he looks like he would be in favor of that. All three of these guys at one point seemed like they were very, very conservative. But no, it's the irony of the bill. It's entitled the Respect for Marriage Act. That's what the House titled the bill. I'm not sure if it would have the same title when it gets to the Senate. Probably will. But yeah, this is where our U.S. Senate and House is. But even just so disappointing that these people that you thought were conservatives. Is it the fillets? Is it the water? Or were they less conservative all along? Were they liberals from the get-go?
Well, here's a discussion I had earlier today, discussion/debate about it. Somebody asked me about he said, well, this proves that we live in North Carolina, we live in a purple state, and Tom Tillis has to do these things in order to get elected. And
he didn't get originally elected. And we weren't that less purple 8 years or 6 years, 8 years ago.
But here's the important question: is the reason Tom Tillis is barely winning against a flawed Democrat candidate like
what was the guy's name?
I can't remember, but he got caught on the couch.
Quickly, yeah.
Got caught on the couch with
Doing
his girlfriend.
The horizontal shuffle.
Yeah, with his girlfriend. But is Tom Tillis not getting a lot of votes because he's not much different than a Democrat candidate? Or is it really that tight in North Carolina? I mean, I want to think he's not getting enough votes because Republicans aren't going out and voting for him because he doesn't seem very conservative. Yeah. I mean, he got less votes last election than Joe Biden in North Carolina.
Wow.
So, I mean, what does that tell you? I mean, to win closely in that last race against a severely flawed candidate, there's two things happen. Either North Carolina is really, really purple, or either the North Carolina Republican and independent voters that are conservative saying, I'm not voting for him. So it's one or the other. Who knows?
So go Google Senator Tom Tillis and call his office. Be polite, but tell them very firmly that this is a deal breaker if he votes in favor of the Respect for Marriage Act. That's the name of the bill that has passed the House, and it will come up for a vote. And again, it won't. The thing that will sway Senator Tillis is if he gets hundreds, if not thousands, of calls saying, Senator Tillis, please vote against the Respect for Marriage Act.
And I mean, I'll just put it out there. My view on this is probably left of what yours would be. Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, number one, I don't think the federal government should be in the marriage business. I don't care what the federal government thinks about marriage. I mean, marriage to me is a religious thing in my mind and in the way I live. But I mainly fall down to the federal government doesn't have any business getting in this issue. And I'm someone that states vary wildly in their laws between when it comes to estates and that type of thing. So that's why it needs to be handled at the state level. I mean, personally, I believe that a state should recognize a civil union for legal purposes. Personally, but that's not marriage to me. But the federal government doesn't have any business getting in this.
No,
that's where I come down.
The idea that they are going to, and these are the same people that said you can't legislate morality. Mm-hmm. Well, what are they doing here? What are they doing here?
I mean, put that decision back to the states, back to the people of the states, back to the people that elect their representatives. And if they don't like whatever it is, get new representation. But I don't think it's the position of the federal government.
And again, There are some people out there saying, well, this does not have a chance to pass because you'll need 60 votes in the Senate. And you have some people that thought, well, which way will guys like Lindsey Graham go? Lindsey Graham came out and said he's against this. He'll vote against it. Marco Rubio said he would vote against this. Mitt Romney, we don't know. But anyway.
He's waiting to see what Mitch McConnell tells him to do.
Mitch McConnell said he'll wait and see.
Let's wait and see how close the vote is. Probably is what that means.
Interesting. Another story out of the Christian Post. There was a resolution put forward by a representative, Mike Johnson from Louisiana, and it was a very simple resolution that noted the violence taking place to pro-life pregnancy centers, pro-life groups, and pro-life churches. Mike Johnson simply had a resolution that would have condemned the violence against those organizations coming from left-wing organizations such as Jane's Revenge. When he went to the floor to introduce the legislation, I listened to his, it was about an 8-minute speech, and 2 minutes of his speech were just example after example after example after example of the violence that has taken place all across this nation. The resolution also urged the Biden administration to use all appropriate law enforcement authorities to uphold the law. That was it. I mean, there was no real teeth in this thing. It was more of a symbolic resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Nancy Pelosi wouldn't let it come to a vote. She would not let it come to a vote.
And you know why? Because there are so many radical representatives in the Democrat Party that would open their mouths and show just how radical that they are, that would be against this. And I think that's probably why she wouldn't let it come to a vote, because America would see just how radicalized the Democrat Party is now.
By the way, I don't know if you saw this on Fox News. Michigan football coach Jim Harbaugh. Apparently, he's very pro-life. I don't know a lot about him. He seems like a nice guy, but he and his brother are both good coaches. But he apparently was the guest speaker at a fundraiser for a pro-life pregnancy center, and just came out and just speaking for the right to life, to protect the unborn, and the vitriol that has come against this guy is unbelievable.
Yeah, look out. Disney will be telling ESPN that, hey, you can't do any broadcasts from the Big House. Is it the Big House in Michigan?
Yeah,
Do they call that the Big House?
Yeah. Well, there's probably 2 big houses in Michigan. Jamel Hill. Wasn't she with ESPN at one point?
She was. Yeah.
She said, this might be a difficult concept for Jim Harbaugh, of any of the anti-choice persons to grasp, but if you don't want an abortion, just don't get one. That's not hard. So this is a black woman. So let's go back 175 years. If you don't want a slave, just don't have one. How would that have worked for you?
Oh, my gosh.
The Palmer Report. No one who actively attempts to deny women their most basic rights should ever be allowed to hold a position of influence at a public university. That includes the University of Michigan football coach Jim Harbaugh and his anti-woman fundraising. He is a public employee. So these same people who think it's good that we have a man playing NCAA sports, and in terms of men playing in women's sports, but he wants a level playing field when it comes to abortion, but not when it comes to sports. But the idea then, so you've got to have a litmus test now to go teach at a public university. If you don't meet the liberals' quota, you're not allowed in a public university. That's where it's going. Hey, we got to take a time out, but let's play political trivia. Haven't played it for a couple of weeks. 561-8255 is the number to call. 561-8255. Your category is the Secret Service. We'll play when we get back.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Another rock and roll weekend.
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
You know that moment when you realize your hair color is way past its prime? Or that you need a change and you hope it comes in the form of perfectly sun-kissed highlights? And at Fantastic Sam's, we offer real salon services at real people prices. Our color specialists can do it all. They make grays disappear, layer in subtle highlights, or help you finally find that perfect shade of red. All for real reasonable prices.
the best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
Another rock and roll weekend.
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
Hi, I'm Richard Langley, and after helping my grandmother with an iPad she received as a gift, I realized how many other older adults may also have challenges with their own technology.
Happy Grandma specializes in helping with any tech issue you may be experiencing. Whether it's setting up a new computer or TV, having issues with the printer or Wi-Fi, or showing you how to use your tech, we want to help you. To make it easier, we come directly to you with a smile on our face.
When tech gets tough.
When tech gets tough.
When tech gets tough.
When tech gets tough, get happy.
Happy Grandma Senior Tech Support.
All right, we're back with a little political trivia. Took a little 2-week hiatus. Your category today, Secret Service. Prize package includes a bunch of goodies, including a free oil change for your car or pickup at Dave Davis's East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep or at Washington Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. A gift certificate from Fit for Life, including 2 free training sessions with a fitness coach. A $20 gift card to Mucho Bueno for lunch or dinner. Mucho Bueno, real Mexican street food located in front of the Westbrook Shopping Center, US 70 West in Havelock. Also a $20 gift card to Gwendy's Goodies Bakery in Ayden, delicious made-from-scratch goodies, and a gift certificate. Talking in tongues. My producer's talking in my ear, and okay, I've got those names. A gift certificate to Ironwood Golf and Country Club. Remember, if you or anyone in your immediate family have won recently, that 60 days pass before you play again. First up is Bruce from Emerald Isle. Hey, Bruce.
Hey.
Hey, Bruce.
Ready.
Are you ready to play?
Hi. Well, I think so. It's being first up's always,
I have a good feeling about this for you, Bruce. I don't know why, but... All right, here's your question. It was 157 years ago this month that the United States Secret Service began. What was the event that drove the United States federal government to begin the United States Secret Service?
Oh, it was one of the assassination, McKinley's assassination.
No, it wasn't. That is a great guess, but that was not it. That didn't happen until 1901.
Yeah, I know. It was a 20-year cycle there for a while. But anyway,
yeah, that was 1901, and now you're warm because they did increase their protection of the president after that, but that was not the initial reason why it started.
Well, give
Thanks.
someone a clue.
Hey, you gave somebody a hint. Thanks, Bruce. 561-8255. Is it Jessica? Jessica. Yes. Hey, Jessica. How are you?
Hey, Jessica.
I'm good. That was my guess, so let me try.
All right. Change gears. What do you think? Now remember, there's a little hint for you. The year, 157 years ago, the year would have been 1865.
In 1865, they had some counterfeiting of currency.
Bingo! You got it, Jessica. Yeah, it wasn't an assassination.
I remember reading something about that, yes.
How about that? Yeah. Rampant counterfeiting. By the end of the Civil War, nearly 1/3 of all currency in circulation was counterfeit. As a result, the country's financial stability was in jeopardy. To address the concern, the Secret Service was established in 1865 as a bureau in the Treasury Department to suppress widespread counterfeiting. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Washington, and today's my husband's birthday, so this is perfect.
Hey, happy birthday. All right, Jessica, hold on. Clark's going to get all your information. We'll get those certificates out to you. Thanks for calling and winning. Thanks for everybody else who called. Sorry, Jessica took away your thunder. Stay with us. Benny and I'll be right back.
And we're on location today at Fabric and Home Furnishings in Arlington Village here in Greenville. One of my favorite people. We've got Lisa Pendry here. And Lisa, big news. You've been working on the store. It looks fantastic. You finally have finished the transformation of the store. You've got your Norwalk Gallery open. Give us the whole story here.
We are excited. It's been a big process. It's taken us a while, but now all of our renovations complete, from paint colors to little elegant showroom areas to highlight everything we offer here at Fabric and Home Furnishings.
And we say that it's a furniture store and so much more, and of course that means you also have designers on staff. So tell us about that. You got some new folks.
I do. I've got some new designers that we've added to our team that can come out to your home, walk you through the whole process, help you as much as you need us to pull your home together.
And there's a big party coming on June 16th. You've got your Norwalk Furniture Grand Opening Gala, and it's going to be a big party here in the store, and that sounds like a lot of fun. Tell us about it.
It is. We have dignitaries like Henry Hinton.
I'll be here.
And PJ Conley is going to come, our mayor. Lots of fun people. All of my designers that shop here are going to be here in the community, and we're going to have some champagne and some hors d'oeuvres, representatives from Norwalk, and just have a big night of fun and festivities and education on what we offer.
I'll tell you, the store is packed right now. I know a lot of furniture stores are still having trouble getting inventory, but you guys have a lot of stuff people can buy right off the floor.
We do, Henry. We invested in a warehouse, and we've added lots of inventory so you can just have it delivered or pick it up the day you buy it. So lots of sofas, chairs, everything in performance fabric so you can enjoy your furniture.
And you started 12 months, same as cash.
We did start that so we can help with everything that's going on in the world right now.
All right, Fabric and Home Furnishings here in Arlington Village. Don't forget the big party, the grand opening gala for the Norwalk Gallery, coming up on June 16th at 5:30, big ribbon cutting, and it's going to be a big party. So I'll be here. You need to be here too. Thanks to Lisa for the update.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you farm to fork beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to fork beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Empty lots at car dealers everywhere, except here. The selection you want is at Greenville Nissan. And during the Nissan Thrill of the Drive sales event, buy a new Nissan with financing as low as 0.9%. The versatile Nissan Rogue, the all-new Pathfinder, or gas-saving cars like Nissan Sentra and Altima. And yes, we have trucks. Buy the new Nissan Titan with 0.9% financing, or the all-new Frontier for $99 a month. Hurry to Greenville Nissan, where we drive to serve.
News and views.
He's kind of a diva. He's absolutely fascinating.
Ultimate gentleman spy. Irresistible to women, deadly to his enemies, a legend in his own time.
You won't believe what he's going to say next on Talk 96.3 and 103.7. Here's Tom Lemprecht.
Welcome back, and congratulations to Jessica Richardson of Washington, North Carolina. She got it right. Secret Service wasn't there for assassination purposes. Their original deal was to counteract the counterfeiting that was rampant after the Civil War. And it was nothing to do with assassination. And then when McKinley died, as Bruce mentioned, at the hand of an assassin, they ramped up their services.
That was around late 1800s, wasn't it?
That was
McKinley?
1901.
1901. Yeah, I knew it was close.
So congratulations and happy birthday to Jessica Richardson's husband. By the way, there's a gift certificate to Gwendy's Goodies. Unfortunately, we can't get it to you today. Otherwise, you could go down and buy him a birthday cake today. But hey, you can get him a belated birthday cake.
On National Junk Food Day.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, it all falls together. It's like the planets are aligned. Washington Examiner is reporting voters are showing an eagerness to junk old slates of presidential candidates and entertain a new cast of hopefuls, including fresh faces such as Ron DeSantis and Glenn Youngkin. Do you really think Glenn Youngkin would have a shot? I mean, if DeSantis, if Trump doesn't run and DeSantis does, Glenn Youngkin is so, I would think, I mean, I know he won a big victory, but he just became the governor of Virginia.
Well, it depends on how much money he raises and how many commercials. Name ID is, but Ron DeSantis would have so much ahead of him. Yeah. But I think I had a story. It might have been one day that you had to leave early, that I didn't get to. But there's some talk, some big fundraisers up in
for Youngkin.
In fact, I was going to ask Charlie heard about it when we had him on.
Right.
Because he's in that Virginia. He lives in Virginia, and I know Youngkin. He's been to that town a lot. So I was just wondering what the rumblings are. I mean, he's not going to New York to raise a bunch of money for
the governor's
the governor's race.
Yeah, for his re-election.
That he just won.
By the way, we have had more positive comments on that interview we had with Charlie Hurt, and you need to put him on your call list.
Well, he had a funny article this week. It's just hilarious about basically about the Hispanics leaving the Democrat Party in droves. I mean, he's very politically smart, like he is, but
he's very politically incorrect.
Yeah, and he's just funny. If you don't follow him, you need to go follow him in Washington Times. But I sent him a nice little email, telling him how I enjoyed it. And said, hey, we can have you on anytime you want.
Well, sounds good. I mean, I sincerely thought he had a good time too, though.
Yeah.
So, who do you think is a name that's being mentioned more than once in the on the Democrat side for president?
Well, I've said for 2 or 3 years Michelle Obama, but
no. Believe it or not, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
That is laughable.
Is she old enough to run for president?
Well, I still stand by my guns. There will not be a Democrat primary next election, and it won't be because Joe Biden is the candidate, and it won't be because Kamala Harris is the candidate. I think there's going to be somebody else appointed before the next. But can you imagine a Democrat primary with AOC in it? Because regardless of what the Democrat candidate, once they go against Republicans, it's just going to be all out against Republicans with the mainstream media. They won't have to. It'll be softball after softball after softball. But in the Democratic primary, they actually go after with some tough questions, and I would just love to see. AOC would be. It'd be laughable.
She's
I mean, she is literally has
junior high.
Junior high. I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah. Interestingly, the person this was a poll taken by Rasmussen. The person least likely to that voters want to see run for re-election. Who do you think that is? Both parties, either party. The person that got the worst marks for running again.
Is it the president?
No.
No.
Hillary.
Okay.
Hillary.
Well, I wouldn't even think.
69% said no. 20% said yes. Interestingly, 53% of Democrats said no. 59% of liberals said no. I mean, isn't that one and the same?
I heard the guy. What was the guy that worked for the Clinton campaign? Then was
the young guy.
No, worked for the Clinton campaign and then was a Fox News contributor and was wrong about everything. Dick Morris. Speechwriter for Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
He was on either earlier this week or last week saying that Hillary's always running. And I think he kind of forgot that she didn't run last time. But I think she really has no self-awareness of just how unpopular she is.
Other names, Mitt Romney, 66% of voters said no. 19 said yes. 71% of Republicans said no. Bernie Sanders, 67% said no. 21% said yes. 59% of Democrats said no.
On Bernie?
On Bernie.
Wow.
Yeah, Bernie's done. Well, Bernie's so old, though. I mean, isn't it interesting that the Democrats were always pointing the finger at Republicans, calling them old white guys? And that's all they got.
That's all they got. And
you got to check to see if the pulse is still there.
Bernie's been a little quiet for the last couple of years, but I just remember Joe Biden's nomination. Do you remember sitting up there like some old ski jacket and those old gloves that were knitted, old brown gloves?
Yeah. It looked like some homeless guys, begging on the side of the road.
I'm surprised the Capitol Police didn't handcuff him and say, "Come on, guy, get out of here." They wouldn't know who he was.
This is surprising and not surprising. Ted Cruz, 63% said no, 20% said yes, 48% of Republicans, half of the Republicans to Ted Cruz said no. I like Ted Cruz, but there is something a little caustic about the guy.
He may be one of the smartest guys in Washington, but he's just he's not a very likable candidate, really. I like what he says and his ideals, but he's kind of a Republican Clinton, really, as far as likability goes.
Yeah, as likability. Yeah. I mean, nothing else compares
no policy.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, congratulations again, Jessica Richardson, our political trivia winner. We got to run for today. We'll be back and do it again tomorrow. See you then at 5 o'clock. Bye-bye, everybody.
All right, all right, all right.
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
What do you see when you imagine life on the coast? Is it salty or sweet? Is it refined or a bit wild? Perhaps it's the perfect combination of everything you ever dreamed of. This is the very best of the best of living on the coast. Bow Coast.
And we're on location at one of my favorite places in the whole planet because this is some of the best food you're ever going to eat in your life. We are at Nino's on Red Banks Road in Greenville. It's one of my hangouts. It's one of the places that I love. I got my friend Pietro Passalacqua. How'd I do?
You did great.
Let's talk about the food. What makes this place? I know it's special Italian from authentic Italians, but tell us why it's so special.
Because everything we do, it's really what we came up on the menu from what we did at home, from my grandparents, my parents. So it's exactly what we eat at home, and that's the way we cook. That's why it's special.
And the atmosphere in this place is special also. From the bar to the two dining areas, you got two different dining areas, and now the weather's nice, so there's going to be a lot of folks that want to eat outside.
Yeah, we have two rooms. One room is designed a little different. We're also working on the patio to make it more attractive and more useful in the summer with a cocktail service. And we're always improving our services.
And, of course, my friends here, my buddy, Chef Massimo, who I love, and Sal and Pietro, you guys do a great job here. Not just Italian, but I had a great pork chop here the other night. You got great steaks, too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we're also adding filet mignon in the future on our menu. And Massimo is coming out with a really good side dishes for it. And so we're really excited to come out with new meats and fish dishes.
All right, Nino's on Red Banks Road in Greenville. Same people that give you Marabello's and the great pizza that you get at Marabello's, but this is fine dining at Nino's. If you haven't been here,